So Mickey 17 is a science fiction dark comedy movie that was supposed to be released over a year ago and is based on the novel Mickey 7. And whilst this movie definitely does have some really interesting concepts and some truly excellent performances, it just comes across as being really convoluted and really disappointing, especially as this is going to be director Bong Joon Ho's follow-up to the absolutely unbelievable Parasite, and where Parasite truly does stay with you for years after you have finished watching it. This one is really forgettable, and you can tell that it's got a lot of clear social commentary, for example on corporate worker abuse, the class system, capitalism and politics, war over peace. The trouble is though that it doesn't really say anything profound, and whereby the ending of Parasite was truly risky and really powerful, this one by comparison is just so safe. To this movie's credit, I did love the narrative structure that they had in terms of Mickey 17 pretty much narrating this movie, and I actually do prefer films that actually say and explain things rather than leaving it all to the audience's imagination, as I actually think that approach is really lazy, and where they think it is actually being really creative and imaginative, I don't think it comes across as well as when films really do make it crystal clear what they are trying to say and do. And whilst the dynamic between Mickey 17 and Mickey 18 was pretty captivating to watch, I do feel like on the whole they could have done so much more with the clone plot. But speaking of the clone plot, one thing that I did like is as the movie was progressing, Mickey 18, whereas in the beginning he wanted to kill off Mickey 17, but then it proper changed 180 and he became like a bit of a protective older brother, and he was so much tougher, bolder and braver than Mickey 17, so they pretty much did feel like completely different characters. And even though Mickey 17 did say that every iteration of him that gets reprinted does have a slightly different personality trait, you can really tell a big shift has happened with 18, and I wish they explained that a little bit better. Speaking of approaches, it was very Suicide Squad-esque right at the end, in terms of the villains pretty much pitting them against one another, and that only one of them will survive, and that they have to kill all the aliens to survive, and the one that gets them the most alien tails will be that person. But when Mickey 17 was pretty much communicating with all of the aliens, I feel like it took a really goofy direction. And on that point, this movie has got so many different tonal shifts constantly going on, and I feel like this is fine for certain films, but with Mickey 17, I don't think they did any of them well enough. So not only did it come across as being really convoluted, disjointed and confusing, but none of them were able to be really strong in their own right. So let's go through all of the actors and character performances now. So even though the script wasn't that great from my perspective, you have to hand it to Robert Pattinson, who did such a good job as all of the different Mickey variations, as well as all of the narration. And there have been so many films and TV shows lately where one actor is playing multiple parts, and Robert Pattinson is now the latest actor to do so. And I just have to say, he did such a tremendous job. I love how lovable and likable Mickey 17 was, and Robert Pattinson has said that he based this character on the portrayal in Dumb and Dumber by Jim Carrey. And then by contrast, Mickey 18, he gave him a slight inflection with his accent to really make it different. And I just love how nice Mickey 17 was and how naive he was despite having all of these experiences going on. I thought Naomi Ackie was decent as Nasha. I absolutely loved her powerful speech in the third act, and she really was Mickey 17 and Mickey 18's right-hand woman in terms of helping them while they are out in the field and they are communicating with her, and she is trying to save the day from inside. Obviously this isn't a series, so you can't do that much development with the character, but I do feel like they could have done a little bit more with her. For example, when there is a brand new love interest, I feel like that plot just didn't go anywhere, even though they did set some pretty good stakes with that, especially as Nasha was getting super protective over all of the Mickey clones. Similarly, I absolutely love Steven Yeun's character, especially as he started off as the best friend to Mickey, and now without hesitation he is willing to kill off multiple clones, all in order to save his back. So I feel like this betrayal could have just been explored so much better, and I just feel like Steven Yeun is easily one of the best actors of our generation, and he did such a good performance with the limited script that he was given. Mark Ruffalo was clearly doing his best Trump impression. Firstly, I feel like he wasn't that great at that, and secondly, this character was pretty much just an evil, psychotic imbecile, and clearly that's what they wanted to do with the performance. So to some extent you can say that he was successful with this, but I just feel like Mark Ruffalo could have and should have just done so much more, especially as he clearly does have the acting chops, as we've seen in a number of his other performances, but I just feel like over here he was just pretty weak. By contrast though, Toni Collette was really, really good as his evil, conniving right-hand woman, and she was definitely the puppet master that was planting all of the seeds and ideas in his head. And then as far as the aliens are concerned, I think they made the right decision in terms of making this device that they are allowed to communicate with them with, as I always find it really unrealistic and unbelievable when suddenly the aliens can speak English. And even though the aliens are definitely peaceful and wanting to live in harmony, if provoked, they are unafraid to fight back. So overall, even though Mickey 17 is definitely a watchable movie, I was just expecting so much more from it. Even though it had award-winning performances in there, I feel like the script unfortunately let everyone down. And so for all of those reasons, I'm going to give Mickey 17 a 4.5 out of 10. Now I'd love to hear from you. What did you think of this film? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.